Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us online today. As now you must have been through 5 team coaching competencies. And today I have 2 legendary coaches with me, 2 wonderful colleagues with lots of experience and also this very same qualification as professional group and team coaches. And they are here to share with you their insights about how they approach team coaching competency number 6. Now, particularly, they are here to share with you the competency number 6 from a practical perspective. So, as I welcome all of you to this space watching this video, I would like to welcome 2 of the Ignite Global faculty members who teach the ICF accredited group and team coaching mastery certification. I have Susan Bandamudiwa and I have Gochi Osai. I would like to invite them to introduce themselves. Susan, would you like to start?
Thank you, Fernando. And hello, everyone. I'm Susan Bandamliwa, originally from Malawi, but based out of Nairobi, Kenya. And I've been coaching since 2018, doing both individual coaching as well as group and team coaching with clients around the world. Looking forward to interacting with you into our session today. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Gochi, over to you.
Thanks, Fernando. My name is Ugochi Osai. I am based in Lagos and part of Ignite faculty, as Fernando has already mentioned. I'm a group and teams coach. I am an organizational specialist, a development specialist, and I'm glad to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Gochi. So, as our viewers are going through this series of videos that Ignite faculty members are creating in bringing awareness to group and team coaching competencies, I am very honored to have this very well-established, esteemed 2 professional coaches. So let's hear their insights around the competency number 1, specifically focusing on how do they bring these beautifully articulated ICF competencies into real world practice. So perhaps let's start with Gochi. So Gochi, as we understand, one of the unique aspects of team coaching is noticing the relationship between participants rather than simply listening to the individual contributions. When it comes to your practice, what are you paying attention to as the dialogue unfolds?
Thank you, Fernando. I think when we begin to look at team coaching as different from one-to-one coaching, once you get into that space, you begin to listen for the connections between the perspectives of the members of the team. So you're not necessarily paying attention to what the individual is saying, but what perspectives they're bringing out as a group, as a team. I probably will pay attention. I will pay attention to who is building on an idea that's brought up by a member of the team, all right? Who is challenging the ideas that have been brought up amongst them. And I'll also be focusing and trying to notice, making sure I notice those who stay silent. And what it is that seems to divide the teams or even unite them as they embark on the conversation or the discussion. Now, the important thing is to focus on the relationship between the voices and not necessarily the individual comments of the people themselves. So I think I'll stop here now. Those are the things I would pay attention to as a group, as a team coach.
Thank you, Gochi.
Back to you, Sister.
Absolutely. So you are inviting us to recognize the complexity when we team coach beyond individual coaching. And also you share with us many aspects that you would be paying attention beyond just the individual contributions. Thank you very much. And I think, Susan, with your experience as a team coach, I would like for us to go a little bit further. So team communicate when it comes to the team communicating, beyond these aspects that Gochi mentioned, beyond the words, what verbal and non-verbal patterns do you notice that often reveal opportunities for growth?
Thank you, Fernando. Yeah, absolutely. You're looking for things like, is there agreement? Are they building on ideas? What is being said and not said? So when things are not being said, if there's silence, what is the silence? What is in that silence? And asking the questions around moments of silence and even moments of animated conversation, animated participation amongst the participants, amongst the team members. Those are cues that can tell you that there's something that's going on. There's generation, a collaborative generation of ideas that might be happening. And so for you as a coach to stay alert to those moments of verbal interaction and nonverbal, and those periods of silence, periods of agreement and disagreement. That's what I'd like to say.
Thank you, Susan. Very valuable insight here around the collectivity of the team, treating the team as a unit, if not the client. So, as you are sharing your insight around the collectivity, it makes me curious to invite Goju to share with us. How do we recognize changes in the team's collective energy, engagement, or focus during a coaching conversation?
Thank you, Fernando. If there's engagement, whatever it is that is happening within the team, you will notice the shifts in the room. All right. Sometimes I think Susan referred to this in passing. Sometimes they become animated. They're leaning in, the conversation flows, it's kind of excitement. People are building on top of others' ideas. But some other times also, you will notice that the room goes quiet. Drawn out silences. People withdraw. Maybe you start getting one sentence, yes, no. Or they have said they're going in this direction, and then you find out that their conversation kind of becomes repetitive. They're just not they're not moving from there, right? And rather than me as a coach assuming that I know why, my role would simply be to bring to them, reflect to them what I'm observing, and then invite them to explore what is happening. They're not under really any they're not under any, they don't have to accept what I'm saying. And if they don't accept it, I leave it. My only role is I observe when there's animation, when the conversation is flowing, when there's silence, when the discussion is becoming, and I just bring it to them. So that's how I handle the changes in the team's collective energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. You're wonderful. So we bring in our strength as an individual coach, our power of observation and not intervening, rather be the observer from the individual coaching into team coaching. And also you said something very valuable, Coach. Sometimes when we engage in a new team, sometimes we end up seeing that there are few people have a different alliance compared to few other people. So subgroups within a team environment. Like you said, perhaps one subgroup is going in this direction and the other group is going in another direction. So that creates some tension. So that brings me to my next inquiry for Susan. So Susan, as we understand these alliances and also interesting recurring dynamics could create underlying tensions. How do you work with these observations while remaining in a coaching stance?
Thank you, Fernando. And just building on what Gochi has said, one of the things that you need as a team coach is to bring curiosity to the discussion. So the curiosity is to understand what is happening. So when you see these dynamics, is to ask the questions, offering them say, this is what I'm seeing. Because sometimes the team itself may not see that. That there are these alliances that are happening, or indeed there's some certain dynamics that are coming and coloring the discussion. So as a team coach, be curious. And with that curiosity is to offer your observations and offer them, as Gochi has said, with no tie to necessarily them accepting those observations, perhaps to invite even disagreement as you offer the curiosity, as you offer your observation, and to get their sense, the team sense of what is happening in the moment. And even when there's tension, when you bring that curiosity, is you can use other techniques as well. So humor, what's happening, and help to dissipate some of that tension, and have them focus on the ideas as opposed to necessarily the voices that are causing some of that tension in the room.
Thank you, Susan. So you and Gochi brought the a perspective of working with a coaching stance here, which I think is absolutely very valuable. While, of course, we are aware that we can bring different type of directive approaches into coaching, I think Susan and Gochi specified the importance of remaining in a coaching stance as we work with clients, even with certain tensions that could emerge in the coaching session. Now, since if you compare individual coaching to one-on-one coaching, something that we know in team coaching is that beyond being the coach, we also can have another colleague who ICF calls a sub-coach, and often in the industry called a co-coach. And beyond having a co-coach, sometimes we as team coaches, we also engage other experts where we might use a directive approach. So Gochi, I would like to invite your insight into when you are using a co-coach or working alongside other professionals using a directive approach, what helped you to model effective collaboration for the team, keeping them as a container?
Thank you, Fernando. One of the first things that's always said when you're working with a co-coach, especially with a co-coach, other professionals, yes, but one of the first things is you have to work with someone that you trust. You have to work with someone that you are comfortable that they've got your back, or you just trust. There's mutual trust. Then the roles must be clearly defined from the very start. So everyone knows what's expected of them. Everyone knows whether you can come in during the systemic coaching process or you debrief later on. So clear roles, clearly demarcated, right? Then regular check-ins, because if you don't check in, you're not going to be able to get the feedback that is necessary for you to adjust your pace or whatever it is that you're doing. So clear roles from the beginning, mutual trust with your co-coach, regular check-ins, all of these make a big difference in when you, especially when you're working with other professionals or with a co-coach. Now, effective collaboration for the team means that you stay present. You're present to each other. To the team, yes, but to each other. You build on each, you have to be able to build on each other's observations. Curiosity is a given. You need to develop curiosity as both as a co-coach and as a member of the team, right? Now, leadership, really, we're saying that leadership will be shared. It's not just you're not above your co-coach. It's just that these are perfectly capable coaches, skilled coaches, but one is playing one role and the other one is playing another role. And in that way, when this team is able to work together, share the leadership, and in a disciplined and in an impactful manner, you indirectly model for the team how they too can collaborate. So those are some of the things that I believe are essential for you to be able to be successful as a team coach when you're working with other professionals and a co-coach.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Kochi. Thank you. So the importance of modeling the same approach that we use within our team, I think that's a really an eye-opening sharing. Thank you, Kochi. Really appreciate that. And I think that actually naturally leads us to our next question. So when we work with a team, it's true that we might have a co-coach, we might have other professionals who are supporting us through the directive approaches. But no matter what, the ultimum of team coaching is the enabling the team to have the ownership of their conversation. No matter there's a co-coach, no matter whether there's another professional using a directive approach. So, Susan, I'm wondering, so as we aim to create this ownership of the conversation, what are some of the approaches you have found most effective helping the team to build this ownership of the conversation?
A key factor is your ability as the coach to step out of the conversation. So you ask the question, you make the observation, and then you let the team have the room, space to have a discussion. And not to be tempted to go in after perhaps only one person has spoken or two people have spoken to further that conversation along. You take the stance of being outside that container and allow the conversation to happen. And it's important because, as coaches, we sometimes are tempted to say, okay, if there's a silence, maybe I need to jump in, to let those silences speak for themselves and to let the team navigate that silence, to navigate the issue by themselves. Your role almost as a coach for teams is to perhaps conduct the orchestra, shall we say. You're not necessarily there playing an instrument, but you're conducting and helping them to move along. And if there's a dip, if the movement is slower, to let that happen. Then when it needs to pick up, let that happen. And to be able, as I said, I think what's really key in order for them to own it is to let them have that discussion. You step out and only come in when it's necessary. And when it's necessary is perhaps to observe when an idea has emerged or some insight has emerged, to be able to offer that back and say, from my observations, it seems you're agreeing on X. Or perhaps you've agreed to take this action. Or there's this observation here. Have you considered it? And then let them carry on with that discussion. That is really key because it allows them to then take ownership. That ownership comes if they are allowed to discuss to a point where it's natural for you to then step in. And as a coach, you will get to understand that cadence and that rhythm of the team, understanding the rhythm of the team and knowing when you need to be more directive, perhaps, and when you need to step back.
Thank you, Susan. I just really admire the way how you built the synergy between both of your sharings, and we elevated the competency number 6 to its highest essence. So the competency number 6 being maintains team presence and facilitates collective awareness. I think, Gochi, Susan, you brought us to this very important intersection, I would say, which we could even quickly compare with individual coaching competence as well. I think because of this, in individual coaching, because we go between the coach and the client, a conversation between coach and the client, you really help us to understand how different it is that in team coaching, and how it also could be sometimes challenging for us because we have gotten used to how we do this back and forth communication and individual coaching. So like you said, I really take away what you said, Susan. Disappear into the background and enable the team to have that discussion. I think that's a very powerful insight, which I think is absolutely important for all of us to model. So with that, so colleagues, those who are joining us online, we intend to keep these series of conversations really brief and precise, so that way you can get a glimpse of what team coaching is like, and also how at Ignite Global our colleagues approach team coaching. So as we come to an end of this sharing on competency number 6, maintains team presence and facilitates client awareness, I would like to invite both of my colleagues, Kochi and Susan. Uh, if someone is watching, if a professional is watching this recording at the moment, or this series of ICF team coaching competency created by our faculty members, what would you like to share with them to inspire them?
Maybe I'll go, Fernando. I think that when it comes to team coaching, you just have to trust the process. Because one of the things that will happen is that the team will always want you as a coach to come in, right? Or what does a coach think? A coach, they will put pressure on you until you establish for them that, hey, I trust you guys. You have this. You can do this, right? So that is for the professional that wants to get into their team coaching, that's preparing, or that is already there and is wondering, what is all of this pressure about? And then for those who are thinking about it, Ignite Global is always there. At the end of this video podcast, you can check below whatever questions that you want, asks, clarifications that you seek. Ignite is ready to help you navigate that path until you become the team coach that you have always dreamt about. So back to you, Fernando. So I don't talk too much. But
Thank you, Kochi. Over to you, Susan.
Yeah, just to build on that, I mean, Gochi has really said it all. Trusting the process and trusting yourself as a coach. That if you're at the point of thinking about being a team coach, then you've done the work. You're halfway there, and the course. The course, the level 2 course that you get with Ignite Global, just enhances and steps up your ability to be an effective and fantastic team coach. So I would say go ahead, ask Fernando the questions, or ask the Ignite Global team the questions that you need, and get onto the course. You'll find a lot of support, not only from Fernando and his team, but even from those coaches who've gone through this course in the past. It's a real family, I would say, of coaches, and we support each other through everything. So this is, if you're interested, go ahead, reach out to the Ignite Global team and become part of this family. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Susan. So I also further extend this invitation to our colleagues also watching this video, this series of video. I hope this is valuable to all of you. And thank you for being with us and engaging. This says a lot about you, that you are committed to professional development and you are committed to your own growth. So Ignite Global is a community for that continuation of growth. With that, I would like to sincerely thank Susan and Gochi for joining me today and sharing valuable insights specifically from your experience as a team coach. Deeply appreciated, Susan and Gochi, and it is such a pleasure for me to continue to facilitate and bring this program to our coaches, aspiring coaches, together with both of you and the global faculty members that we have at Ignite Global. With that, I would also like to extend a thank to those who are watching this video. If you need any assistance, feel free to reach out. Feel free to set up a strategy call. We are here to support you. And in the next video, you will be able to learn a bit more about practicalities of team coaching competency number 7. So see you in competency number 7 for now. Thank you.